everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan on a spritzerific, kind of miserable little morning. Thankfully, we're going to spend most of our time inside a very nice little camper here. This is it's like almost 6,200 pounds on the nose, the J-Flight 265. This is the one that gives us all of the windows in the world on that big super slide here. And as we go, I will give you kind of the ups and the downs. Like, I will mention the fact that most of the windows on this are on the driver's side. That's just kind of a necessary evil with a floor plan like this. But this thing brings with it a lot of good. Like, if what you're looking for is like, man, I'm looking for really nice living space, but I'm trying to keep my budget a little more limited. Like, maybe I got a half ton for towing. This is something, I think it tops out at like 7,200 pounds total max weight. It can be a very good fit for half tons, but it's big enough, has a lot of space. If you just want to tow it somewhere and leave it somewhere, like say seasonally most of the time, I think it's a really good fit for stuff like that. We have a taller ceiling. They've got the J-Smart turn signal safety lighting. We're solar prepped. And they got rid of the carpet in the slides. That to me is a massive feature that like virtually nobody else in the stick and tin world is doing. Now, kind of like I've done here, I'm going to give you some of the highs, some of the lows along the way, and I would really appreciate it as we go if I heard from you. Let me know in the comment section, like, what aspects of this do you like? What do you dislike? Maybe we have a different floor plan or a different supplier, a different manufacturer who does a little differently that might work for you. And if you appreciate the way that we go, you know, high and low, up and down, and tell you the good with the bad, hit that subscribe button and like our video, and let's get dug inside here. Wait a minute. Doug still doesn't work here. When am I going to learn?
We're actually going to kick things off with a quick little precautionary pro tip for you, something that I've learned to watch for over the years. Look at that. I'm in reverse view. There we go. That entertainment center right there. You see those doors? As the slide opens, you're going to see another one suddenly show up. But that second door right there, it can open behind the slide out flange. So when that slide out opens, it could catch that door handle and just crush the crap out of that door. And you're going to know what's happening because you're going to hear the sound of wood splintering, basically. Now, the good news on this floor plan, you can prevent that. Before you open the slide, put like a little sticky note here that says check door. That'll give you, oh yeah, I got to go check that entertainment door. Walk up there, eyeball line of sight that thing. You can reach through. It's a little tight, but you can reach through and kind of push it closed a little bit if need be. But this is really a case where an ounce of prevention, truly worth a pound of cure. And I'd like to give you those little tips where I can get them.
There's a lot of good qualities we're going to be touching on this thing. There's a lot of, with your Jaycos, it's often not one or two major things. It's a bunch of small things that kind of all add up like drops in a bucket. But there are two significant qualities I think immediately might separate this one from a lot of the other things out there. The wheat from the chaff, as it were. First of all, the fact that this has a taller ceiling. This one measures in at 6'9" tall instead of a fairly common 6.5. Now, in this class, it's becoming about 50-50. More and more trailers are adopting the 6'9" height after seeing the success that Jayco had with it. But there are, like say, a Grey Wolf, a Cherokee, a Wildwood X-Lite. They're going to have a 6.5 foot tall ceiling, whereas all your tandem axle J-Flights and Catalinas and full Wildwoods, not the X-Lite models, they will have the same 6'9" height. And not only is it just more enjoyable as you're walking around, it makes the whole RV look and feel bigger. It's more comfortable. The ceiling of this, if you're noticing too, they really load these suckers up with lights. But let me get near one here. Every one of these lights can still be individually controlled if need be. So if you're boondocking, you can make sure you're sipping the battery, not gulping it, you know, but when you're plugged into a park, this thing lights up like a Christmas tree, which is nice. The other thing this ceiling height is really nice for is when you're like 6'3" like me and you stand in the shower, it makes all the difference between just standing in the shower in the morning comfortably and not having to think about it versus standing with your head in the bubble and maybe banging your head around like a pinball wizard. So that is what I think is major feature number one. Major feature number two would be the fact that for the 22 series, they got rid of all of the carpet in all of the slides in all of their models. Last year, that was true in their laminated series, but it was not true in their stick and tin J-Flight series. And as you can see now, they got rid of all that. Now, the J-Flight SLX series Also uses side ducted heating. You can actually see like a heat vent coming off the bottom of that kitchen cabinet. Now it's awesome because it means there's no floor vents that are gonna, you're not gonna drop a Skittle or a paper clip down that thing. It does mean that we lose a little bit of storage. We lose a little bit of heating effectiveness, which is why Big Brother Full Flight still uses floor ducted heating. They want to be a more, extended season kind of camper. But if what you're looking for is like, man, I ain't camping when the snowflakes are flying. I just don't want to have to deal with sand and rocks and every other thing getting down my floor vents here. That's where the SLX series comes in. It is just the straightforward, no-nonsense series. Now, these windows are all tinted. That'll be more obvious outside. Then again, I could just point over at that Jayco, and you can see the fact that, those windows are nicely tinted there. In the stick and tin category, that's only about a 50-50 feature. You only get that about half the time. Now up top here, what is nice, you have centralized air conditioning. More and more of what people call starter class or smarter class or whatever you want to call it, more and more trailers like that are still adopting centralized air, but it is not still like something you can assume standard across the board. And on a floor plan like this, where the air conditioner is in the living room and then you have like a totally separate bathroom and bedroom, man, if you don't have centralized air, you're going to be sweating to the oldies up there. You're never going to be comfortable at night. Now back here, you see you've got all these big windows, but notice how every window, with the exception of the window in the entry door, they all open for airflow, which is really darn nice. Handy little kind of middle console between the two recliners right there, but the has a handy little power outlet as well. So great little spot if you want to have a phone charger, run a laptop or a tablet or something like that, Now, usually, a rear living room is noted for windows on the driver's side and the back. Let me actually slide you over here. Sorry to move you real quick. But if you sit down at the sofa, or if you're sitting over at the recliners, you've actually got decent door side window coverage. I want to clarify something I said earlier. I was talking about all the windows opening. The kitchen window does not open for airflow, but that also means it doesn't have one of those metallic mesh screens. That it is close enough to the stovetop that I think, like, if you're making bacon, you could bacon, despite what RV builders seem to think, it does splatter laterally, not just forward to back, Now, I called these recliners. If you take a look here, you see they don't fold down flat, but they really extend out. And one of the things that we have done with this one is outfitted it with the optional trifold sleeper sofa hide-a-bed. And standard in your J-Flight SLX series would be a jackknife sleeper sofa. It's a bifold with storage below. This still has a little bit of storage below it. But what it's giving us here is frankly just a more comfortable place to sit during the day if you have some guests. Like if I sit down at this recliner, the one by the door, it's very social. We're right here. The other thing I like to do is sometimes when you look at this recliner, you kind of feel like, is the kitchen counter in the way of the television? And no, it's really not. Now, these guys don't come with a TV from the factory, but if you're like me, you got 2 or 3 flat screens laying around in your basement that you could easily slot up there. And bonus points for mounting one with a swing arm bracket so you can kind of twist it around toward the dinette or the super slide sofa a little bit, as it were. The table here is a conventional post-style table. It's not my favorite because it's a knee knocker, but it is normal within this class, so I guess I can't really deduct points for that. I don't feel they've done lesser than anyone else, but the first thing I would do with a camper like this, because it's just a couple screws that hold all that stuff in place, first thing I would do is unscrew that base. I would get a set of those free-floating folding leg jobs there. There we go, man. Apparently that's hard to say. It's a lot of F's, it's a lot of alliteration. And I would swap that into a free floating table because then I could bring it over here for Dinofa time next to the chairs. I could take it outside and it makes it far more functional. Now, just another view from the other side of the sofa, just to kind of give you an idea once again of what everything looks like here. One of the things this does very surprisingly well, though, is actually the kitchen. If we twist around that counter, start over here, you see that we're going to start with the smaller size oven. It's what I call the pigeon size oven, not the pheasant size oven. Good if you hit a small bird on the way to your campsite, but not a Sesame Street big bird, as it were. One of the things that's actually pretty outstanding about this class, Catalina does this as well. is that they use pocket screwed cabinetry. It is screws into wood. Now it does have a bit of an MDF face on the cabinet styles and rails, but you know, it is a step above. I think most people would agree. A common all particle board with a stapled fastener kind of method right here. Now the shoe garage, I kind of wish they would have found a way to integrate that more, maybe into under the kitchen cabinet space by the door. But I mean, you know, there's only so much room to work with sometimes, and so many opportunities and so many places. What is kind of cool about these though is kind of like where they take the cabinetry a step above. Anytime you spot an overhead cabinet door in one of these, it actually has the nicer metallic strut to help keep all that open. Now, in case you're wondering what this wad of cloth is up in that corner right there, those are actually the little slip covers that you can slide over the back of these chairs so they don't rub on stuff in transit and you know, end up having holes ground into the back of them. And if you hang with us in a little bit, we'll actually close the slide up and show you the RV in ramblin', gamblin' road mode so you can see those things in action. The only thing I'm not real sure about on these though is sometimes they make some funny sounds. Like get up here close, listen to this. Hey, I'm a squeaky hinge. And now I'm opening. What you gonna do? I mean, that's weird, right? Now, in case you haven't guessed, we're not in the kitchen anymore, Toto. Instead, we're in the bathroom blessing the rains in Africa. That should totally be a keyword. I gotta go bless the rains in Africa. And you're like, yep, he's breaking the seal. We all know what that's like. We were all young and drinking for the first time, and when we discovered what breaking the seal was, remember that? Now, the bathroom in here overall is very nice. I have one little personal grievance with it, though. I wish that was a medicine cabinet and not just a mirror on the wall, but at the same time, it's not hard to take that off or change it or to maybe add something here. But when we turn around, you'll see that there's actually some really solid storage in there too. Now, over here, one of the things they did that I really like is the fact that they swapped away from that cloudy glass shower door and went to this clear enclosure, because it makes the whole room look and feel dramatically larger. That's a factor I really like about this. By the way, bring a little squeegee with you. You can squeegee down those walls or the shower doors real quick after you're done showering, and you won't have soap scum buildup. And remember what I said. Taller ceiling means taller shower, which means I'm not going to grind the rest of my hair off, you know, on the ceiling panels when I try to stand up. Instead, I'm probably just going to have to wait till Mother Nature takes the rest of that from me. Now, this does have the simple 4-inch fart fan, but if you want to upgrade to a bigger fan, all the wiring's there. That's an easy thing that we can accomplish for you. Now, you may have noticed in the kitchen, we were looking at the modern farmhouse decor. When we get up to the bedroom, you're going to be looking at the brown cottage decor. One of the more interesting qualities on these J-Flights is that the bathroom is always farmhouse and the bedroom is always cottage. I mean, I don't know. I find it interesting. It kind of fits in with the theme of everything I've ever known growing up, whether as a child or as an adult. I've never lived in a home whose bathroom exactly matched the decor of the rest of the house, so it kind of seems a little bit fitting. Now, as long as we're cracking open all the storage, take a look at this. This is a little bit interesting, but I think it makes sense given the kind of camper that we're in. We have a hanging wardrobe, like closet cabinet over there. You could always add a shelf. Down below the bed, easy lift struts to get under there. And notice how in the 22s, Jayco bulked up the underbed support and totally separated the inside versus the outside storage. A lot of people were asking for that, and they've done a better job in, I think, the last 2 years of listening to consumer feedback and basing their products upon it than they had previously. But notice over here, it is intentionally dresser space, not hanging space. More and more people camping in a camper like this have been saying things like, you know, I need folding storage, not hanging storage. I'm not bringing Uncle Gary's sundress in this thing. In an SLX, you don't have a full overhead cabinet, but if somebody has some specific baskets or totes or something that they've used on the shelf, I've seen some people really use that space effectively. Please leave a link down in the description or in the comment section that other people could check out and maybe get some inspiration and some ideas. I'd appreciate that. I'm actually standing with my butt outside the bedroom door here, just to give you another angle on it. Now, you see that you've got the Bug Zapper lightsaber light up there, but at least it's above the headboard, not below the headboard where it's turning into a Smurf-level tanning booth or anything like that. Over there on the wall, you see a sticker. This has roof solar prep. They do have a small, basic factory solar option, but it is cool that every single Jayco RV now standard has roof solar prep and some level of factory solar package. Now you see that TV bracket over there. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Cross breeze windows across both sides of the bed because the tall window beside the entry door also opens for airflow. I do want to mention though, this is a 60 by 74 Camp Queen, which is something that seems like everybody uses in this class. The full J flights though, not the SLX, they have a true Queen standard and even an option for a King now. Now, a lot of times when you see a second entry door like this, I'll say something like, yeah, well, for road mode, you can get through the camper, but you have to go outside and around and put your left leg behind your right ear and do the time warp again. I'm paraphrasing. I don't usually say it exactly like that. But here's one of the cool things about a walk-through bathroom like this. Depending on the way it interacts with the slide, of course, I have to actually open the door, you can usually slide through here. Now, there's about 18 inches of room right there. I could see some fluffier folks not fitting through here very well, and certainly I myself am doing a sideways step to get through there, but the fact is, without going outside in this one, you can get from the front to the back, and really the television's the only thing you lose out on. And one of the other things I want to show you is that when you are traveling, you do kind of got to play the Jenga chess game of twisting and shouting chairs here and then buckle strapping them down to make sure they don't get caught behind that slide, flange, and crush. But the fact is, front to back, she passes the Cracker Barrel test, guys. Hope you enjoy the extra info here.
I forgot to talk about that TV bracket. I said we'd come back to that, and then we didn't. Now we are.
Okay, so you see that TV bracket? Well, that can double as either a bedroom TV mount, or what I think it's actually going to be a little bit better for is an outside TV mount, because in the bedroom, you'd really have to crank your neck around to see it. Now, just to give you your bearings, we're actually in the middle of the trailer, like near the rear section, as it were. I hesitate to say the word aft, because it sounds like something that's going to end up netting me a call from HR, if I'm not careful. Then again, I say a lot of stuff that should probably net me a call with HR and somehow magically get away with it by the grace of God and you good people at home tolerating me. Goodyear Endurance Radials, 87 mile an hour rated, American made. I feel a best-in-class feature. Now, next to that is something I also personally really like. That is the MORryde stable steps. And I tell you why I really like them on this trailer right here. Because standard on this would be those metallic fold-out steps. But if you look forward, you see, you still have a set of those on this. Remember how from either entry door, you can get into the RV and all the way through from front to back. It has that excellent road mode travel access, right? Well, these MORryde steps will make it so that it takes a lot of that wiggle and jiggle out of the RV when you people are coming and going. Whereas those metallic steps up front means that even at like a tight parking space or storage facility, you can always get your way through the camper, which is very cool. Now, let's talk some quick construction points. We have a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking, 12-inch on center floor studs, 16-inch on center average wall and roof studs, and then a 3/8 roof decking. That's incredibly normal in this class. Cherokee, Wildwood, Catalina all have the exact same rough build outline that I just gave you. One of the major differences, though, on your Jaycos is they have plywood roof decking, which is one of several things that they do a little different in their roof to give themselves a about a 50% higher roof load capacity. Now, those other brands I mentioned, they most certainly have a very walkable roof system. It's just that the Jaycos are rated to hold more. And one of the things about a stronger roof build is when you're bouncing down the road, the stress that isn't soaked up by the suspension starts wobbling its way and transfers its way up to the roof line. Think of Indiana Jones cracking his bullwhip. You know that shock wave that rolls through the whip till it cracks at the roof line? Well, the same thing happens here. The roof line actually has some of the worst stress in towing. So having a stronger built roof certainly doesn't hurt. Now, I ordered this with a ladder. There's a shortage of them. Jayco is not able to provide that. So understand, and the RV is ladder prepped. And we do try to stock these with a ladder in stock, so we might have one that looks a little different like this. And I've stood here staring at the back end of this thing for a very long time, haven't I? Sorry. Let's talk J-Smart lighting. You see all those extra upper clearance lights? There's a little white elements in the tail lights. When you flip on your turn signals, let's say your left blinker, all of the lights down this side of the trailer are going to blink along with them so that other drivers have a clue what you're trying to do. You know, sometimes, no matter what kind of towing extension mirrors or anything you try to get, sometimes there's always that little Kia Soul driven by some dumb RV nerd that you just can't see. Now remember in the bathroom, there was just this closed off pocket of cabinetry down by the floor behind the toilet? That's what this is down here. I look at this and I kind of call it my tool chest, but you know, being right next to the one singular consolidated sewer drain point, because there's not two outlets, it's one of the nicer things about this floor plan actually. It's also not a bad spot if you have a little mini tote. You got your little like sewer hose kit. I personally really like the Rhino Flex system, but there's plenty of other good ones out there. It's not a bad little storage spot for it. Now our water heater up here, it is gas and electric and fast recharge, meaning you can run both of those simultaneously. It'll give you just under 18 gallons of hot water per hour. And it's located right next to the bathroom, very close to the kitchen. You don't waste a lot of water waiting for that heat up. Also, like a black tank flush and a hot cold camp shower, that is boring stuff to talk about. Every camper has it, right? Well, no, not in the budget-focused, smarter class that we're looking at right now. Many trailers in this class do not have that feature, like the tinted windows, like magnet holdbacks, like not just rear, but also side camera prep. You can have a full observation suite on this. And I specifically wanted to look at the nice full-size, now completely separate inside to outside pass-through here on the driver's side, because it really drives home the fact that it is a true pass-through. It's not just an underbed storage space that you can get to from the door side of the RV, which is fine, but I think given the opportunity, we would prefer a true full pass-through, because it means that if our cargo shifts, it's easier to get to. Power tongue jack, standard. Propane bottle cover, standard. Once again, really not exciting things to talk about, but those are the things that not every trailer in this class has. That's a couple $100 of hardware right there that you don't have to spend extra on to upgrade after the fact. You don't have to say, okay, I'd like the trailer. Oh man, and how much more is a power tongue jack gonna cost me? So I don't gotta get Pete Sampras tennis elbow trying to crank this thing up and down 2 times to get on my weight distribution hitch. You just don't have to worry about that here. And you know, when we first stepped inside, I said a lot of times in a Jayco, it's like, you know, the black tank flush, the outside shower, the tinted windows. These are small features. They're nice. I think if I ever asked anyone, would you rather have a black tank flush or no black tank flush? You'd rather have a black tank flush every time, right? Well, would you rather have a longer warranty or shorter warranty? One of the things I said is I think there's 2 really standout qualities on this floor plan. And really, I think there's a third one, and that is the Jayco warranty. Their 2 plus 3 year warranty, it's really, I haven't seen it matched by like anybody in this class before. It covers more things for longer, and you know, things like the heavier roof build, the better tires. Everywhere you look on this, there's 1 or 2 little things, like the pocket screwed cabinetry. There's 1 or 2 extra little things that they do here that not everybody does in this class. And I think that's what allows them to have better guarantees, better assurances, and more peace of mind for you. So once again, thank you very much for joining us here at our family-owned and operated facility. Remember, we don't do pesky hidden dealer fees. We are not fee-ridden, you know what I mean? When you can feel them crawling up the back of your neck. We don't do that kind of nonsense here. Any questions you have, leave me a comment. I'll do my best, or feel free to contact our team. I'll leave you a link in the video description where you can always check for current pricing, or at least last known MSRP, to give yourself an idea, whether you're curious or whether you're serious. We look forward to working with you. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Halo camping, everyone. I'm gonna go dry off now. I don't know all the words to that classic rockin' song. Just sure hope I don't lose a bet and have to wear a thong. You're probably wondering where I'm going with this silly song. That goofy RV nerd guy sure plays a mean pinball.